First off, the U.S. economy is actually in pretty good shape. The U.S. consumer makes up about 70% of the economy, and the U.S. consumer is employed, they have relatively low debt levels, and they are showing signs that they are actually spending right now. If you listen to the earnings reports from various financial services firms, they are all indicating that the consumer is spending at levels consistent with what they were spending prior to the pandemic. Also, the recent retail sales report and the recent jobs report were all strong and supportive of a strong consumer. And if the consumer makes up 70% of the U.S. economy, then you're most of the way there. Enterprises, on the other hand, have been a little more cautious in their spending, but we think that caution will abate once we get through the elections and there's some certainty in the political dynamics. And of course, we know that the government will keep spending, and exports from the U.S. probably are poised to do better here a little bit, given the declining value of the dollar. So the U.S. economy is in very good shape. With regards to monetary policy, the Fed has been starting to bring rates down. They're doing that because they have seen very good success on the inflation front. They're still not exactly where they want to be with regards to a 2% target rate, but they've seen inflation come down meaningfully. And secondarily, they want to be out in front of any potential job weakness. And there is a little bit of weakness in parts of the U.S. economy, but that most recent jobs report suggests that things are actually in pretty good shape and that we are in the midst of very much of a soft landing. What we believe is about to happen next is the start of a new business cycle. A new business cycle led by artificial intelligence, innovation, and that will lead to growth. And so we are very positive on the state of the U.S. equity markets and believe that there is great opportunity for growth across the U.S. equity markets, but in particular down the market cap spectrum where there is relatively better valuations. But overall, we are positive on the U.S. equity market. We are encouraged that we are at the beginning of a rate-cutting cycle, and most importantly, that the U.S. consumer is in a healthy spot. Well, so certainly at the beginning of a rate cycle, where rates are to be cut, that is generally positive for duration assets, growth businesses. Ultimately, central banks are trying to get investors to take on risk, to supply capital to companies that need access to it. When we reduce the cost of capital for small and mid-cap companies, they will deploy that capital and use that to drive growth. Investors will also be forced to take risks in their investment portfolios, and that will increase the demand for riskier parts of the market. So small and mid-cap technology companies, we think, will do very, very well in that environment. Also, enterprises, business spenders will be able, with a lower cost of capital, more projects will make sense, will pencil out. And so they will be more willing to invest, and that will drive increased activity for smaller and mid-cap technology companies. So we're positive on particularly small and mid-cap technology companies at the beginning of a rate-cutting cycle. Now, there are a number of themes that we like in the Franklin Equity Group. Digital transformation, this idea that enterprises, governments are still in the early days of learning how to use software and data to better understand their customers and their business processes, and then technology to transform how their industries operate. This is a massive opportunity. It is underpinned by 10 important sub-themes: artificial intelligence, cloud computing, fintech and digital payments, cybersecurity, Internet of Things, etc. So that's one big opportunity we're focused on in the group. The next is healthcare innovation, and more specifically, biotech. We have aging demographic. We also know that as people age, they tend to spend more on healthcare. That is a very positive and strong background for just structural growth for biotechnology stocks. But we are also seeing the benefits of that low rate environment in the healthcare sector over the past many years that created a lot of innovation. Many of the drugs that were being developed and explored during the low interest rate environment now are starting to enter into the later stages of testing and into their early commercialization stages. And that will drive, we believe, revenue for many of these companies or M&A activity for many of these companies. There's also the very exciting opportunity around GLP-1s for obesity management and all of the benefits that come from reducing the obesity problem in the West. Diabetes, heart health, cognitive health. So a lot of benefits that are going to come from these GLP-1 drugs and a massive opportunity on its own. The next opportunity that we're focused on is energy transition. Certainly the planet is experiencing dramatic climate change, and this is forcing innovation in the electric grid and a lot of transformation in the electric grid. New sources of power are coming online: wind power, geothermal, solar power, along with traditional sources of power, coal and natural gas. But also we're seeing a resurgence in nuclear power, and new demands are coming onto the grid: electric vehicles, heat pumps, and data centers to support artificial intelligence and the digital transformation opportunity. So that is driving huge changes in the infrastructures to support power. And the final opportunity that we're focused on in the Franklin Equity Group is the massive opportunity around reshoring. We are seeing the impact of manufacturing managers and enterprises reevaluating their risk profile. We learned during COVID that it was not a great idea to have so much of the world's supply chain focused in one region, one particular part of the world. And so we're seeing companies starting to spread out, to distribute their supply chains and their manufacturing base throughout Southeast Asia into places like Vietnam, Malaysia, India, but also back to the United States and into Central America and even into parts of Europe. So that's creating great growth drivers. So 4 big themes we're focused on: digital transformation, healthcare innovation, energy transformation, and ultimately reshoring. All big opportunities we're focused on in the Franklin Equity.
国民理财从富兰克林开始。
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。